Hey guys, Elagatua here with another new deck demo. And this deck is the Poverty Facerush deck. Now this guy that I'm playing against right now has already seen my deck once. So we're going to see if it can work twice against him. But basically this deck is really simple. It uses a bunch of cheap cards that are pretty easy to get. And the idea is win fast. It's very simple to play. It's very easy to build. And that was not a good start. That's basically the worst thing that could have happened, because I had Vermin for like a really nice combo with the rats, and that didn't work out so well. But looks like he's running some crazy ritual deck in response. So anyway, so more about this deck. This deck runs a lot of AoE, it runs a lot of cheap cards, and it runs a lot of hammers. And the idea is just to summon a bunch of dudes and run the dudes to his crystals and smash the crystals until they die. That's basically what this deck does. It's really simple, and the nicest thing about it is it doesn't require a ton of really expensive cards or not even too many epics. I think there's 2 legendaries in this deck, but both of them are really optional. You could swap them out for a non-legendary and still have the deck totally be effective. So anyway, I'm just deciding on how I want to play this really quickly. I think I want to do that. So this deck is a lot of really trolly cards. One of my favorite cards that I'm including in this deck is Halt, which is a global halt. It roots everything on the board. Which means that anything you have on the board is going to be rooted for your next turn. So it works really well when you're behind. But if you manage to get a board advantage and you halt everything, and your hammer is already next to his crystals, well, wow, this guy is crazy. Look at his crystals are almost dead. We might have to do another game to properly show off this deck, because he's killing himself. He's killing himself. Another thing this deck includes is Get Over Here, which advances a hero 2 tiles. I think that card was originally intended to be used offensively against units, but I prefer to just kind of catapult my units forward. There's a similar card that only works for hammer units that advances them 3 tiles, but this works with all units, so it's a little more versatile. And I'm a big fan. So I'm going to take advantage of Vermin here. He's my 1 legendary, and he's just always good. Now that Dark Bargain decks are a lot more common, he's even better. Just because of how easily he can buff his attack up, and his high HP can withstand the 1 HP damage every time. So okay, he's got a Brain Basher out, but his crystals are like almost dead from all the AoE. Looks like he's running. I wonder if he's trying to run a copy of the deck that I showed showed off against him last game. You didn't see it, but in the video, or sorry, in the game before I recorded this, I played him with this deck. I think he was Council in that game, and I ran him over with this deck, although his Council deck was pretty well optimized. So anyway, so we're gonna show off Halt here, because this guy is you know, in a pretty scary spot for me, and I can't really do much about him. So I'm not going to do anything about him, and I'm just going to go around him. No, I messed up. I messed up a lot of things there. So 1, I should have put that rat up here and just killed the Impaler. That would have been really smart. So I should have done that, and then I should have, well, I want to play to the halt first, 'cause I don't want this rat to get stuck. But anyway, we're gonna just do this, and we're gonna let it ride. So now everybody's stuck, and now this will at least give me some time to beat these guys down. So I'm gonna Dark Bargain him, just so that I can get this guy's HP down a little bit more. Ooh, I could do like the Crystal Spider thing. Oh, I love Crystal Hatchlings. So they poison. That's the nice thing. So that's 1 mana for 2 points of damage, and that Impaler is going to be stuck, so she's just going to take the poison damage and die. So that's pretty awesome. Now I just gave him a bunch of mana, so that stinks, but unfortunately it can't be helped, and I have that card too. Oh my gosh, he's going down so low. Oh, it's so low. That's crazy. Okay, so he's gonna... So he had to spend that to get rid of Vermin, so that's actually pretty efficient for me. That card is expensive. Okay. So now, let's see. So if I get a little lucky here, I can... No, I can't kill him because I don't Brain Basher. Oh well, that's still pretty cool. Okay, so first of all, let's get him on the board. And I think we might just want to halt again. No. We don't want to halt again. We want to turn his Brain Basher into a dude. Dudes are great. Alright, let there be a dude. So now he's going to sit there and probably do nothing, but he's just something that this guy has to kill. And now we've kind of cleaned the board up and he's low on mana, so we should be able to pull it through from here. This deck is really good at squeezing in a damage here and damage there, and he's eaten so much of his own crystals to gain mana that he's kind of done most of my job for me. It really hasn't been a great game to show off this deck. And this deck is definitely not top tier in the same level that some of my other decks are, like the Hammer deck in the other video is really like a top tier where you can beat even some of the best players on Legendary or whatever rank 0. You can beat those players with that deck, but that deck also requires a lot of very rare cards. This one definitely does not require many rare cards. So I want to use this Phantom here to eat his whatever, what's his name? Him. Now if I had been smarter, I would have done that and I just would have killed his crystal down here, but I wasn't smart. Because I could have used Get Over here. Mistakes were made. And see, so the nice thing is this Spider Hatchling now can kill the Shadow Wraith because it's going to poison it. So that's super, super efficient. If they're in that spot, the Crystal Spider is going to be 1 mana for 2 damage. And that's really, really great value. So I really like Spider Hatchling in this deck. I think it's a very undervalued hero power, especially in a deck where you need a lot of defense. Because in this deck, you're not spending time trying to defend your crystals. You're just trying to kill the other guy's crystals faster. And unfortunately, I've done that to varying effect in this game. So I can't really do anything about the Void Monk. This playing dead could actually win me the game. Because he's probably not going to stomp this rat. So if I like put the rat somewhere and then revive it next turn, he's probably not going to expect it to come back to life. But I really want to swap a card. But all these cards are really good. Alright, so I think what I'm going to do is do that so I can kill him. Okay. And that way... Okay. Alright. We'll see how that goes. So I'm hoping that I can revive... no, that didn't work out at all. Alright, so he's got another Brain Basher. That's a shame. Good news, I've still got another Halt. This game's going to get pretty dicey, I think. because we're both tantalizingly low on crystal life, and it's just going to be a poke here, a poke there that ends up winning the game. So now I've got a Wraith Swell, so that's really nice. If I can get a Phantom, I hope I haven't played all my Phantoms. All right, so the rat's dead, so we don't need playing dead anymore. So now I think we can pretty much just start flooding the board with Woe Raiders. That's the plan.
Let's go clubbing.
We don't really care
Let's go clubbing.
about too much,
Let's go.
other than making him defend. Yeah, this one's gonna come down to the wire. I was running the Phantom creation or the Phantom creation power in this deck for a few games, but I found it a little underwhelming. But if you have 2 Wraith Swells and you're able to draw them pretty well, then it's really a remarkable. Wow, he just he used my own thingy against me. That's pretty nice. Good for him. So this deck has no removal, by the way. This deck has no removal whatsoever. So if I do Hatchling, will it spawn here or will it spawn here? I don't know. So I can kill this guy by using Iconoclast and get over here with that's like a full 5 mana combo. So I do that, I'm still dead, I think, to this guy. So I think I have to kill this guy and I'll be down to like 1 HP. Alright, so unfortunately this Iconoclast is not going to do me any good, I don't think. Ooh, that is really good. Okay, that's a card. That is a card that keeps me alive for another turn. You'll never see this coming. Boop. Okay. So yeah, I run Weak Sauce in this deck, which makes everybody's attack -2 until the next round. And so that it can be really useful in the exact situation that just happened. He thought he had me, but now his guys are all rooted, and now my guys are gonna be near his crystals, and he's got a block, but he doesn't realize I get over here, so he can't actually block me from getting to this bottom crystal. So if this is all he does, then I'm gonna win. Wow, what a crazy game. Okay, so he's gonna block with that one. Is that good enough though? No, it's not good enough because I can snipe it with the archer. Okay, so I think that's it. So if I play this right, I should just win. So we do 2. And then we do this. Okay, now the bottom's crystal's dead. Now we do Umber Ritual. We do Seething Sniper right here. We kill him. We move up. And we say GG, because that was a really good game. So GG, happy. Wow, that was really intense and wild. A great way to show off this deck. So stick around. I will give you the deck list, and I will offer some quick suggestions about any swaps that you might like to make. So I call this one Poverty Facerush. So you can see the deck here. We got 4 Phantoms, 4 Rats, 2 Iconoclasts, Seething Sniper is really, really great. Woe Raider is great for the high HP. Impaler has AoE. Brain Basher is just crazy value. And then I have Vermin, because Vermin has really good synergy with the Rats. If you don't have him, what would you put in? You have a lot of options. I don't know. You pick a big minion. Like you could do Queen Seereth is questionable. I kind of like Verminen actually. Verminen might be a good one that you could put into this deck. Offsides is fun as well. I've experimented with that a few times. It's like still a little expensive for what it does. but at least it's a rare, so it's not out of reach. Or Ragebringer. Ragebringer would work fine. Marrow Gore Mage. Wow, that's a mouthful. Marrow Gore Mage would also be good because that's gonna buff up all your Phantom attack. So that could be an option if you don't have a Vermin. And then for the spells, so you got your Umber Ritual, which you really need 2 of these. It pairs really well with Dark Bargain. Throwing some Shade is great. In combination with Wraithswell, it's just great removal because it will spawn next to an enemy hero, and then you can spend 1 AP moving the Phantom, and then spend 3 more on a Wraithswell, and then attack the whatever target you spawned next to it. And it's just really good for removing cheap units that are ranged, especially that your opponent's hiding behind a lot of other units. Then I've got Get Over Here. If you don't have Get Over Here, then I recommend swapping it with Mighty Grip, which is very similar, same mana cost. It actually does 3 tiles instead of 2, so it moves the unit a little further. But with Get Over Here, you can move the enemy units as well as non-hammer units. So it's a little more versatile, but it's a rare, so you may not have it. Halt is awesome. It's a lot of fun. If you don't have it, then I would maybe throw it in. See, is the root spell? Is it is that like a Warden exclusive? I don't remember. Well, there's plenty of options. You could try something like Escape Plan. Yeah. Or maybe even Swarm to go with your rats. Might be an interesting way to do it. Void Blast is also a potential finisher if they have no units on the board. But a lot of times in this deck, you're going to be face rushing, so you're not going to be super efficient. And they're probably going to have a lot more guys on the board than you because you're busy suiciding your guys at their crystals. And then Weak Sauce is really useful in the clutch. In the situation that we saw in the last game, it basically saved me from dying. So highly recommend that. And if you don't have Playing Dead, then I might also consider adding a second Weak Sauce. And if you just draw Weak Sauce early in the game, it's a free card that you can discard to swap it out for something else. But late in the game, it can really be the one card that saves you. So anyway, that's Poverty Facerush. Use it on the ladder, have a good time, and run your units at their crystals and smash them into dust. See you next time.